Why is it that we desire? Why is it that we desire everything other than ourself in our lifetime? What creates that emotion that wants us to go out in the world to find the ultimate goal, the ultimate attainment, the ultimate adventure, the ultimate success? It stems from our sense of separation. And this sense of separation could be one of the original experiences in our lifetime. As a baby, all we knew ourselves was only ourself alone. We only knew ourself as ourself. And in that experience, that is the experience of wholeness and completeness. But what happens around the age of 4, 5, or 6 is a phenomena that nearly 100% of us experience. It is our parents and our brothers and sisters and our grandparents that start to describe us as a baby. They start to say, you're a boy or a girl, you're cute, you've got chubby cheeks, you've got an outie belly button, and so on. And we start to turn our attention away from the wholeness of ourself onto what we think is chubby cheeks, a boy or a girl, curly hair, and so on. And in that moment we do that, we start to develop the sense of individual. Because we pulled our attention away from the wholeness of ourself onto these fragmented ideas of boy or girl, or chubby cheeks, or dimples, and so on. And the moment we do that, we start to experience the original experience of separation. And then continuing to follow the guidance of our family and society, we continue to build on that identity through our education, through our activities, sports, music, literature, whatever it is we're into. We follow along the career path. We're told that the greater amounts of wealth we have, the happier we'll be. That if we climb the career ladder, if we go on adventures, if we take psychoactive substances, if we have better relationships, we're constantly adding onto the individual self. And the more we do that, the more we experience separation from the wholeness. This experience of separation is the experience of lack. We feel a sense of lack. The individual, the me, the sense of I, is the experience of lack. Why? Because it has moved away from its wholeness, and it takes itself to be an individual in this body. It is this body. And this body because it's an object, it looks out onto the world of other individuals and objects. It is clearly not a part of the whole. It's a piece of the whole. And that is experienced as lack. I am not everything. I am not whole. And in that comes negative insight thoughts, like I could do better, I could be more. There's self-doubt. There is not enough. There is, even when I get enough, it's not enough. This all stems from the sense of lack, in which we then run around the world even harder and more, trying to find the ultimate object to fill this sense of lack, this sense of separation. Which leads us to desire. Because when we feel lack, we desire wholeness. And this desire, because we take the lead of society, which says the desire can be filled in the objective world through, again, climbing the career ladder, making more money, going on epic adventures, having better relationships, doing self-improvement. All of these things, eventually, if I work hard enough and I keep seeking and I look and I'm diligent, I will find the ultimate things that will satisfy my desires to feel whole. And any of us who have been doing this for a long time realize that is futile. There is no such essence in an object, in the objective world, that contains a quality called happiness or wholeness, that if we get that thing, if we obtain that thing, if we're successful, we add that to ourselves to feel whole and complete and happy. That's an illusion. There is no such thing in the world that contains the essence of happiness, that if we find it and add it to ourselves, we will be permanently happy. And we experience this. And we can't deny that getting a raise or going on vacation or achieving certain things in our life doesn't create temporary happiness. It does. But what we do is we mistaken how that happiness arises, where that happiness comes from, where the absence of this sense of lack is obtained from, or why the absence of the sense of lack is diminished, so the experience of happiness is gained. What happens is when we do obtain the thing that we think is going to make us happy in life, that desire is filled. And when that desire is filled, the ego is satisfied, which is the experience of yourself. The ego drops back into what you experienced as a child, which is your infinite self, and happiness is experienced. So happiness doesn't come from the thing, the object, the attainment. It comes from the dissolving of the ego due to the desire being fulfilled, and you experience yourself directly, which is the experience of happiness. So by me even saying this, I'm saying two things simultaneously. There's a paradox here. The paradox is, as the ego gets what it wants, it dissolves into the self. And then what happens is the ego then rises again and thinks that the object is where the happiness came from. So what does it do? It goes back out in the world trying to get more of that. And even when it gets a lot of that, it's still not enough. It still says, how can I get more of that? Or how can I add on to that? Or how can I get more and more? So when you see the mechanism, which is, it's in the fulfillment of the desire that collapses the sense of lack, which is the experience of yourself, is where happiness arises from. And then that wears off, and the whole cycle starts over again, and over again, and over again. And it goes on for decades. So it's not that filling the sense of lack is not important. It is, because if we could eliminate that sense of lack, we would experience permanent wholeness and contentment. The issue is that we're reaching outwards for it instead of inwards for it. That's the only difference. We could say that what was just divulged was the mechanics of happiness. It's the mechanics of lack and suffering and desire, which is also simultaneously the mechanics of what it means to experience happiness. When we realize that the happiness is the absence of individual, the sense of individual, the sense of ego, that is happiness. Happiness is the absence of ego. It's the absence of the sense of individual. So what the message is saying is that with that desire, use that desire. But instead of reaching into the world of objects, reach in to the oneness of yourself. And the more you reach inward, the desire, it's like it turns into a longing. It's like the desire is an ego. The ego desires, and the self longs for itself. The desire turns into a longing. The longing to know yourself. The love to know yourself. Why? Because it's self that delivers happiness. Isn't that what we're all seeking? And the more you turn in, the more you start to understand what this means to turn your attention in and hang out and abide more and more in yourself, that presence of happiness comes into your day more and more. This could be one of the most beneficial understandings somebody could ever attain in this lifetime, is understanding the mechanism that creates happiness, that delivers happiness. That when it's noticed that there's nothing in the world that contains permanent happiness, that contains anything permanent. The world is a world of impermanence. And so we end reaching for the impermanence, and we begin reaching for the permanence of ourself. That which has always been here. You have always been you. The essence of you is permanence. And that is the experience of wholeness. You, yourself, are the experience of wholeness. Your infinite self is the experience of wholeness. And with this experience of wholeness, just as yourself, you take yourself with you wherever you go. You take the experience of wholeness and completeness with you wherever you go. When you take yourself with you, you're not seeking anything in the world anymore. You're not trying to get anything from the world anymore. Why? Because you're already whole and complete. You need nothing other than your wholeness and completeness. When you show up to the world whole and complete, you're there in the purest form. You're there to serve whatever it is in front of you in its purest form, because you're not trying to gain anything from it anymore. You're there to serve it. Instead of taking from the world, you serve the world from a place of peace and contentment. And the world wants nothing other than this from anybody. If there's one word to describe how to come back to ourselves, to experience ourselves as we did as a child, the word would be remembering. It's that simple. Now, we can't deny that the mind makes it extremely complex. It seems like it's a chore to achieve. And yet we know inherently that we've always been myself. I've always been this essence of I. This is a message of remembering what has ever been. You don't gain anything new. You just remember what has ever been. The individual is the forgetter. It has forgotten itself. And the teachings help us how to remember ourselves. We do use the forgetfulness of the ego, of the individual, to help us remember. But it's still, in its essence, just a practice of remembering who and what you have ever been, which is the experience of wholeness and completeness, the complete absence of the sense of lack. To use Eastern words, the ego is ignorance. Ignorance is nothing more than the forgetfulness of ourself. And our self is knowledge. It's the remembering. It's remembering the pure knowledge of ourself. And what's paradoxical about this is that in its essence, even the forgetfulness's underlying reality is remembering. So let's do some remembering. Which is a paradox within itself. It's an undoing that achieves the remembering. I'm going to suggest we close our eyes. And I'm going to start this guided meditation by reading something. It's a letter. But it's a special letter. It's a letter written by yourself, from yourself, through yourself, to yourself. You've titled it Remembering. And you've described the word remember here. Remember is to bring an awareness of something that one has always known, yet has only appeared to have forgotten. Hello, my dear. You have written yourself this letter to remind yourself of who you are. Simply put, you are unconditional love. You are not the definition of love. You are not the idea of love. You are not some silly, fabricated Hollywood, unattainable love. You are love itself. Love is the fabric of your very existence. You know this more innately than your deepest feelings and thoughts, yet most likely you have forgotten. This knowing of who you are can't get any closer to you. In fact, your love is so close that even the concept of knowing your love moves you away from it. That is how interwoven your love is. Love is yourself loving itself. It is yourself is in love with itself. You are it. You are love. It is your very being. Perceive life from this loving fabric, and you will know happiness. You, unconditional love, have beautiful qualities. You are boundless, whole, peaceful, and complete. You have no lack. There is no before love, during love, or after love. Love is eternal and infinite, and therefore so are you. You, love itself, are like the sun that never stops shining. Only when clouds roll in and temporarily block the sun's rays does it seem the sun disappears. But in reality, the sun's rays never stop. They're only veiled. This is like the love that lives as you. Your love's rays are constantly present. They only sometimes seem to be veiled by negative, unwanted thoughts and emotions. But once remembered, you can access your love again and again and again. Your love's rays are forever available to rest into, like a mother cuddling her newborn child, ever present and unconditionally accepting. My dear, please do not get who you are confused with what you are. Who you are is unconditional love. What you are is all of your authentic actions and expressions that arise out of your love. Whether you're a craftsman, a manager, mother, father, designer, husband, wife, teacher, or artist, these are but a few examples of how your love can express itself. What you are is like a free-spirited wave that arises out of an ocean of love. A wave is free to express itself, but never separate from the source of its love. Therefore, your purpose in life is to be love and share your love with the world. There is no effort required to serve your purpose, only the willingness and courage to know yourself as yourself. In closing, this letter is a prompt. It's a tap on the shoulder to remember to never forget. To never forget your origin of being and to share what you find there. You, my dear, are granting yourself your own permission to be you and to transform the world with the love of yourself. Sincerely, You. What is it that remembers? At first, it appears to be the individual that remembers. But as the individual remembers its true self, it's realized that it's only the remembering of the self that remembers itself. Your infinite self is remembering itself. Your being, your isness, your amness, your isness, your thisness, is remembering itself. Come home to yourself. Leave the objective world of impermanence and come home to the permanence of your being, of yourself. The amness that has never left you. That has ever been. The essence that makes you, you. The essence that is you. Do you not experience peace when you come home to yourself? You do. This is the benefits of remembering. This is where lasting happiness resides. This peace is the evidence of the message. The message wants nothing more than to eradicate the sense of lack. The message of yourself, the remembering of yourself, wants nothing more for you than for you to be at peace. For you to feel whole and complete and satisfied. It's obligationless. For what do you need to know the peace of yourself? Nothing. No thing. No experience. No obtainment. No successes are required to know the peace of yourself. To simply remember. This is a message from yourself, by yourself, through yourself, to yourself. This letter never left itself to deliver it to itself. Yourself is feverishly trying to get you to come home and rest in itself. This is unconditional love. This unconditional love longs for you to come home and rest in it, as it, to be one with it, to be the one love of yourself, to where there is no separation, there is no sense of lack. It is just the total unity of love itself, of yourself being and resting in and as itself. Turn your attention to this place and never, ever leave. when you do, you will experience the love of eternity, that which has ever been. The ultimate remembrance in life.